California Dreaming Prologue, Cyber-Libertarianism. It started with a dream, like most disasters do. They told us technology would set us free. Funny how things turn out, isn't it? Back in the 1960s, California was the epicenter of change. On one side, Governor Ronald Reagan preached about free markets and American greatness. On the other, hippies marched for peace and love, calling for the end of war. They clashed in the streets, sometimes violently. I read about how, on May 15, 1969, Reagan unleashed the National Guard on protesters at UC Berkeley. Blood was spilled, lives were lost, and the myth of two irreconcilable ideologies, capitalism versus counterculture, was born. But across the bay, something different was brewing. In Menlo Park, these so-called opposites weren't fighting. They were working together, blending into something that no one saw coming. From that uneasy union came an idea that would define the future. Cyber-libertarianism, a strange mix of anarchist idealism, hippie utopianism, and ruthless economic liberalism, all dressed up with the gospel of technology. The belief that tech unregulated and untamed could solve every problem humanity faced. The whole Earth catalog was their Bible. They spread the word far and wide. Computers would liberate us. Networks would decentralize power. The free market, powered by innovation, would usher in a golden age. Governments were outdated. Regulations were the enemy. Technology would make us all free. That was the promise theory. Fast forward to the 2020s. The world was teetering on the edge of something big. This time it wasn't just Menlo Park. It was the whole country that became the testing ground for a new kind of cyber-libertarianism. In 2024, a controversial populist leader was re-elected. This time, he didn't just win an election, he took everything. All three branches of government. He stacked the courts, manipulated Congress, and used his allies to consolidate power. The checks and balances that were supposed to protect democracy, they were nothing more than obstacles to be crushed under the weight of political ambition. And it wasn't just him. He had powerful allies. A tech billionaire who thought he could save the world with his vision of the future. Together, they pushed the idea that government had failed. They blamed regulation for holding back progress. Only technology, they said, could save humanity from itself. Economic stagnation, bureaucratic inefficiency, public mistrust, they used it all as proof that the old ways were broken. The tech giants were given free rein. It started with small steps: deregulation of digital infrastructure, privatizing public services, reimagining the role of government. They didn't need guns to take control. They had the power of technology. Healthcare, education, even the military, everything became privatized and data-driven. The healthcare system became a profit machine, where algorithms decided your treatment based on cost-effectiveness, not care. Education went digital, tailored by data metrics, and if you couldn't afford the premium learning packages, you got the scraps. Even the military became automated, with drones and AI making decisions without a human conscience to hold them back. They told us it was progress. They told us it was efficiency. But we all knew what it really was. It was control. The dream of cyber-libertarianism came back with a vengeance. But this time, it had claws. The promise of freedom and decentralization was swallowed up by corporate greed. The tools meant to set us free became the instruments of our oppression. Surveillance went from something out of dystopian fiction to an everyday reality. Facial recognition cameras on every street corner, biometric checkpoints, mandatory digital IDs that tracked every move we made. Social media stopped being about connection. It became a weapon, a way to shape public perception, curated by algorithms to serve the interests of those in power. The tech visionary promised us more: neural implants, AI-enhanced minds, a shared digital consciousness. It sounded good on paper. Equalize everyone. Connect us all. But the cost? The cost was our freedom. The implants that were supposed to democratize knowledge became the means to control us. They used advanced neural mapping technology to monitor our every thought, our every impulse. Real-time data on emotions, desires, even the subconscious. They knew what we wanted before we did. For a while it seemed to work. The old problems seemed to disappear. Algorithms predicted the weather, AI cured diseases, and everyone was connected. But there was always a catch. Technology doesn't care who uses it or why, and the people holding the power weren't dreamers or idealists. They were CEOs, looking for the next big profit. The tools meant to free us became our chains. The hierarchies they promised to destroy were still there, they just wore different faces. And the end result of this new cyber-libertarianism? It wasn't a utopia. It was Static City, a sprawling digital nightmare where freedom was buried beneath layers of corporate control, surveillance, and greed. A world where every problem seemed to have a technological solution. Only those solutions brought problems that were even bigger. A world where they promised us liberation, but all we got was a new kind of prison.